In this video, we talk about a quick and effective daily routine that you can do in just a few minutes to support sexual function, vitality, and longevity as you age. What comes next might really surprise you. If you're like many men, the moment you start to feel your sexual response slowing down, your energy dipping, or your confidence wavering, the first thing you're told, directly or indirectly, is that your testosterone must be low. Now, that can be true for some men, and testosterone does play a role, but it's far from the whole story. The truth is, sexual health after 60 is influenced by a complex blend of hormones, blood flow, nerve function, mental health, and lifestyle. And focusing only on one hormone often misses what's actually going on and what's fixable. Let's look at a few of the most common beliefs and how they compare to what trusted medical sources actually tell us. Myth number 1. If things slow down, it means I need testosterone replacement. You've probably seen ads for testosterone gel, injections, or pills. And yes, for men with clinically low testosterone and confirmed symptoms, treatment can help. But most men with mild or moderate sexual changes after 60 do not have dangerously low testosterone, and jumping straight to hormone therapy without addressing root causes can backfire. The Mayo Clinic and Harvard Health both caution that testosterone therapy is often overprescribed, especially when symptoms like fatigue, low drive, or performance issues are actually tied to things like poor sleep, chronic stress, excess weight, or medications. Testosterone therapy isn't a shortcut. It's a medical treatment, not a lifestyle enhancer, and it only works if the underlying issues are also addressed. Myth number 2. There's a pill or supplement that can reverse everything. The supplement market for men's health is massive, and while a few natural ingredients have shown mild support in early research, like L-citrulline or fenugreek, there is no over-the-counter pill that reliably restores sexual function in men over 60 without addressing the broader picture. The Cleveland Clinic makes it clear, most of the supplements promoted online have little regulation, limited evidence, and often distract from the lifestyle changes that actually improve performance. That doesn't mean supplements are useless, but they are secondary, not primary. Myth number 3. It's all just part of aging. Nothing can help. This is the other extreme. Some men, feeling discouraged, assume that nothing will change the course, so why bother? But that's not what the research says. In a 2021 review from the Cleveland Clinic, researchers highlighted that regular exercise, improved sleep, and cardiovascular health had a direct and measurable effect on erectile function, stamina, and desire, even in men over 70. In fact, erectile function is often called a barometer of vascular health, meaning when blood vessels are healthy, sexual function improves, and vice versa. It's not about becoming 25 again. It's about supporting the systems that still work and helping them function at their best. Myth number 4. If intimacy is off, it must be psychological. For years, men were told that any changes in sexual interest or ability were in their heads. But today, we know better. While anxiety and relationship stress can absolutely play a role, so can things like undiagnosed sleep apnea, insulin resistance, low vitamin D, nerve changes from diabetes, or side effects from common medications like blood pressure drugs or antidepressants. Johns Hopkins researchers note that nearly half of men over 60 are on medications that can affect sexual response, yet many never hear about this connection. The key isn't to blame yourself, it's to look at the full picture calmly and medically and identify what's really getting in the way. So what is real? Daily lifestyle habits, especially movement, sleep, nutrition, and stress management, have the strongest long-term impact on sexual performance, blood flow, hormone balance, and stamina. Medical conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or sleep apnea need to be managed, not ignored, because they directly affect nerve and vascular health. Mental health is not separate from sexual health. It's part of it. Anxiety, depression, or emotional strain can reduce libido or function, even if you're physically fine. Testosterone can be a factor, but it's rarely the only one. And it should never be the first or only thing considered. Supplements, if used, should only support a solid foundation, not replace it. But that's not the full picture. We'll explain why soon. Because what's really happening inside the body during this phase of life, that's what gives all of this context. When you understand the biology behind these changes, things finally start to make sense. Let's start with something most men have at least heard of: testosterone. Yes, testosterone levels naturally decline with age. Most men begin to see a slow decrease starting in their late 40s to early 50s. But by the time you're in your 60s or 70s, the drop can feel more noticeable, not just in intimacy, but in energy, mood, and motivation. What many don't realize is that it's not just the total testosterone number that matters, it's how your body uses it. As men age, a protein called sex hormone binding globulin, or SHBG, increases. This binds drains more of your circulating testosterone, leaving less available for your body to actually use. So even if your lab results look normal, you may still feel the effects of lower free testosterone, the kind that's biologically active. But hormones are only part of the story. Blood flow plays an even bigger role than most men realize. And this is where vascular health, the health of your arteries and circulation, becomes critical.
Here's why.
Sexual function in men depends heavily on strong, consistent blood flow, and the blood vessels involved are actually quite small, much smaller than those in your heart or brain. That means they're often the first to be affected by things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, smoking, poor diet, or a lack of movement. In fact, a drop in erectile function is often considered an early warning sign for cardiovascular disease, not the other way around. A study from Mayo Clinic proceedings emphasized that men with even mild erectile dysfunction should be screened for underlying heart and metabolic conditions. That's how closely the systems are connected. So if blood flow slows down due to plaque buildup, stiffening arteries, or inflammation, function follows. Now add in nerve sensitivity. As we age, our nervous system becomes slightly less responsive. That means slower signals between the brain, the spine, and the sexual organs. Combine that with years of pressure from sitting, spinal changes, diabetes, or even low back issues, and nerve communication can weaken just enough to change the timing or intensity of response. Then there's sleep, which is one of the most underrated parts of this entire equation. Deep, uninterrupted sleep, especially REM cycles, is when your body naturally produces testosterone. If you're waking frequently, not getting enough deep sleep, or living with undiagnosed sleep apnea, your hormone production can drop significantly. And this isn't subtle. Even a few nights of poor sleep can lead to measurable drops in testosterone, and long-term sleep issues can compound that decline. Now, add on medications, chronic conditions, and emotional load, and you start to see the full picture. And this leads directly into the steps we'll share in just a moment. And they're simpler than you might think. Because the good news is, when you know what's happening, you can respond with confidence, not fear. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight, but you do need a routine that speaks directly to the things we just talked about: your hormones, your blood flow, your sleep, your nerves, your mental state. This isn't about overhauling your life. It's about gently realigning your daily rhythm to give your body what it now needs to maintain function, energy, and confidence. Here's what that might look like in a typical day. Morning. Prime your metabolism and hormones. The goal in the morning is to reset your hormones naturally and set the tone for stable energy all day. Get sunlight within 30 minutes of waking. Even just 10 to 15 minutes outdoors helps regulate your circadian rhythm, improve testosterone signaling, and support better sleep at night. Hydrate before caffeine. Starting with a full glass of water helps circulation, blood pressure, and metabolism. Eat a protein-rich breakfast with healthy fat. This could be eggs with vegetables, Greek yogurt with nuts, or a protein shake with berries and flaxseed. A stable, balanced breakfast supports steady blood sugar and hormones and prevents energy dips that can affect your mood and focus. Light movement is ideal here: a 20-minute walk, light stretching, or resistance bands. According to the Cleveland Clinic, even low-impact morning activity increases blood flow and helps maintain erectile health by keeping arteries responsive. Midday, move, refuel, manage stress. Lunch, midday meal with lean protein, vegetables, and whole grains. Avoid skipping lunch or grabbing processed snacks. Aim for a nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory plate: grilled chicken, lentils, leafy greens, olive oil, or a hearty salad with nuts and seeds. Get up and walk every hour or so if you're sedentary. Movement supports circulation and keeps testosterone from dipping. A Harvard study showed men who sit for prolonged periods tend to see more rapid sexual decline, especially when stress is high. Schedule 5 to 10 minutes of quiet time or breathing. Use this to break the stress cycle. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which directly competes with testosterone and blunts sexual interest. You don't need to meditate perfectly, just take time to reset. This midday stretch is also a good time to take stock. Are you drinking enough water? Have you gotten any sunlight or fresh air? These small check-ins add up, especially as your body becomes more sensitive to its environment. Afternoon, active recovery and medical awareness. Try to incorporate light to moderate physical activity, especially resistance training 2 to 3 days per week. This could be bodyweight exercises, machines at the gym, or light dumbbells at home. Why strength training? Because it's one of the most powerful ways to support testosterone, preserve muscle mass, and maintain blood flow to key areas, all of which play into intimacy and stamina. The Mayo Clinic notes that consistent strength training in older men can slow many of the hormonal changes that lead to sexual decline. This is also a great time to address something often ignored: review your medications and medical check-ins. at least once a year. Review with your provider. Are any of your medications affecting intimacy, blood pressure, or sleep? Have you been screened for sleep apnea or vascular health? Are your vitamin D and hormone labs up to date? Doctor-approved care isn't just about treating illness. It's about catching subtle changes early so you can stay ahead of decline. Evening, wind down, restore, and protect sleep. Evenings are when many men unknowingly sabotage their sexual health because this is when alcohol, screen time, or poor sleep habits creep in, all of which directly interfere with the recovery your body needs. Here's a better evening rhythm. Eat a lighter dinner, ideally before 7 p.m. Large or late meals disrupt digestion and reduce sleep quality, which impacts testosterone production overnight. Limit alcohol. Even 1 to 2 drinks per evening can reduce REM sleep, lower testosterone, and blunt sensitivity. If you enjoy a drink, try cutting back to 2 to 3 nights per week or switching to non-alcoholic alternatives. Reduce screen exposure 1 hour before bed. Blue light from phones and TVs delays melatonin production, pushing back your internal clock and lowering next-day energy. Create a simple bedtime routine. Dim the lights, read something relaxing, take a warm shower, or do gentle stretching. The more you can signal it's time to wind down, the easier it is for your body to enter the deep sleep cycles where hormones are stored. And remember, if you snore, wake up frequently, or feel tired even after 8 hours of sleep, it's time to ask your provider about a sleep study. Treating sleep apnea is one of the most effective, overlooked ways to improve testosterone levels and sexual function, and it doesn't require medications. This daily rhythm doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be consistent. Sexual health after 60 is a reflection of your total body rhythm, how you eat, move, sleep, breathe, and care for your systems over time. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's about smart, consistent action. And over time, those steady steps can create powerful, lasting changes in your confidence, energy, and intimacy. And always remember, all information provided in this video and channel is for educational and informational purposes only. Always consult a medical professional about your specific circumstances and before making any changes to your lifestyle, diet, supplements, or medication.